What's up, I'm Nerd4Jinsei, and in this video I'm going to go over the new Unleash Potential system that we got in the recent patch, and I'm going to try and answer the question that I'm sure a lot of people are asking, and that is it worth it? Alright, unfortunately it's not an easy question to answer, it's not simple, and I'm sure a lot of people are going to have their own take on whether or not it is worth it or not. For me, I have three simple conditions that a hero has to meet before I believe it is worth it for you to unleash the potential. And that is because when I read the patch notes, right, it said that it would cost Zez to unleash potential, and I was fine with that. It was completely fine. But 300 Zez is pretty steep, right? So it really does have to, fit a certain amount of conditions before it's worth it. Anyway, the first condition is going to be, do you use this hero in multiple places in the game? Alright? Say, for example, you use this hero only in Holy Dragon Grounds. Then it's not worth it. Alright? Say you use this hero only for special dungeons on one day of the week. Not worth it. Okay? A good example over here is Gale. Gale is a good rare hero in my opinion. He has a strong kit. If you look over here, his normal kit is counter, which is really good for the special dungeons. I actually recorded, I haven't posted it yet, but I did record a Earth Day, free-to-play friendly special dungeons video, and Gale is one of the units that I used in every single challenge, I should say. Sorry, I keep saying dungeons. But every single challenge. He's really strong. He has a 1 mana, 200% to one enemy ability, which is nice. And then he has 238% to all enemies AoE. And I think I'm using the Fate Core version, which is even stronger. But anyway, if you come over here and you go to his Unleash Potential, right? Unleash Potential will give you three things. It will give you increased stats. It will give you augmented skills, or it'll boost your skills basically. And then third, it will give you combat power. All right. First of all, combat power is pretty relevant except for embodiment of avarice and raid. Right. It's through combat power that your score is calculated. Other than that, just getting combat power is irrelevant unless you're getting it through stats. Okay, so we're going to ignore combat power. Next, but the thing that I want to show you here is the skill augmentations that Gale will get. Right, first of all, his skill 1 will become a 300% for 1 mana skill, and that is on par with a fated hero. Okay, see Bernadette, Sabrina, FC Xeon, I think there's one or two others. Rara, the new Rara that came out, right? So those numbers, that 300% for 1 mana, is on par with a fated hero. Now we come over here and you come to his skill 2. It's 357% to all enemies for 5 mana. Once again, that is on par with the fated hero. I believe that is the same number as FC Annie. She's not fated, but she is an FC legendary. And I believe it's the same as Bathory, although Bathory's skill I think costs 4 mana if I'm not mistaken. But anyway, if you unleash potential, it gives him the same multipliers on his skills as fated heroes. Really strong. However, Gale, for me, the only place that I would use him is special dungeons. Okay? The only place I would use him is special dungeons, and on top of that, he's replaceable. I could use a different hero instead of him. He's good for it, but he's not necessary, and he could get replaced in the future, right? For me, when I was doing the free-to-play friendly video, I was using him. However, I usually use Redley. I now have Rara. I have Talia. I have Chadi. I don't need to use him, right? And say you don't have those heroes, but you have him. Again, you don't need to unleash potential to be able to use him to clear the special dungeons, all right? And eventually you will get those heroes and you'll stop using him, possibly, right? So it's not worth it, okay? Next, the next condition that is required, and that is, will you use it for the potential future, or for the foreseeable future? I kind of just went over that actually, and that is, say you're using Gale here, right? But you know that if you pulled this other unit, you would use them instead, right? So you're using Gale, but you know that if you pulled Jinai tomorrow, you would stop using Gale completely because you got a new character that can AoE that's Earth. Then I wouldn't do it, right? Because you're spending 300 Zez and it's not necessary. Would you do it eventually? Sure. But right now, you should be wanting to maximize or be as efficient as possible with the heroes that you're going to unlock, okay? And then the third condition is a little bit harder to identify. Let me come over here. Where is Kaya? I think Kaya's up here. All right, and the third one is how much do they actually gain from Unleashed Potential, right? Kaya is probably the one, there's two rare heroes that I would say are worth using Unleashed Potential on. One of them is Xeon, but only if you have FC Xeon, and that is because if you're using the Fate Core version of a hero, they don't get the increased abilities, but they do get the increased stats, right? And FC Xeon is one of the strongest heroes in the game, so if you Unleash Potential, you get extra stats, you make him even stronger, right? But regular Xeon kind of falls into the same category as Gale, and he's a good rare hero by himself, but you don't need to Unleash Potential, and eventually you'll use another hero instead of him. For example, say you're using Xeon because he's the best hero that you got right now for fire dungeons, special dungeons or something like that, but then you pull a Sabrina. Sabrina does everything Xeon does, but better because she's fated, right? So then you used 300 Zez, and maybe that brought your Xeon on par with Sabrina, but you spent 300 Zez for it, okay? You get that? So the second one that is actually worth it is Kaya when it comes to rare heroes. Alright. Kaya, I already did an overview over, and Xeon, if you want to go watch that video. They're both really strong. Kaya is one of the strongest healers in the game, pure healers. Alright, and if you take a look at her tree, she becomes insane if you Unleash Potential for her. Alright, we're going to look at her abilities real quick. Her skill 1 becomes a 3 mana, 41% heal. 41% of her own maximum health to all allies for 3 mana. That is insane. That is a huge heal, alright? Then we'll come over here to her skill 2 and heals all allies for 83% of own maximum HP. That is the strongest AoE heal in the game, alright? And with this Unleashed Potential, you are increasing her health by quite a bit. If you look over here, she gets increased health. Just a second. Right, 21.8 health, and you do that 3 times. Then you come down here, another 39.3 health, 8 times. A huge HP increase, okay? And that's number 2. She gets these huge boosts to her abilities, but at the same time, she gets great boosts to her her stats as well, right? She gets all of this HP, a massive amount of HP, and that HP means she heals more, right? On top of that, her heals are already healing more because you upgraded them, right? So if you look at everything that you're getting out of this, right, you're getting that massive amount of boosted HP, which not only increases your survivability, but also means she heals more because her heals are based off of her own maximum HP, right? And then you're strengthening her skills so they heal for more of her maximum HP. She's going to be healing a significant amount more, right? And even increased attack over here. You'd think that's kind of useless on her because she doesn't attack. However, she does have First Aid as her passive, and First Aid scales off of attack, right? So everything in here works. Like everything in here that you get from the upgrade from the Unleashed Potential is great for her. and it'll make her an even more amazing unit. Alright? However, let's come over here to Dagus. Dagus is my favorite 4-star. He's my favorite 4-star. I use him in all of the ice dungeons, or the frost dungeons. I use him in PvP. I use him in Holy Dragon Grounds. I use him almost everywhere. Alright? However, if you come over here, actually, let's look at his abilities right now first, okay? If you look at this, his skill 2 deals 142% to all enemies and freezes them for 5 turns. All right. Then we've got Ages of Faith, increases own maximum HP by 37%, and then shares health. Okay. Then we're going to come into here. All right. We're going to see over here. Ages of Faith. What? Max. Yeah, I don't know if this is a typo or something, but it just says increases own maximum HP by 36%. But that's even less than the regular skill. Alright, so let's say it's a typo, and it increases max HP, not 36%, but like 50% instead. That's nice, but it's not huge. It's not necessary, okay? Then we're going to come over here to his skill 3, or his skill 2 rather, and basically all this does is increase the damage by, was this like 30 something percent, right? He's not a damage dealer, right? Increasing this does absolutely nothing. It's like hitting for 212 instead of 200. It's completely useless. However, let's say it increased the freeze duration to 10 turns instead of 5 turns. That would be huge, right? But the increase in damage is nothing. It's really completely useless, all right? Now if we come over here, it's passive. Block is block, okay? Whether it's block 1, block 2, block 3, as long as he's able to provoke, that's all you need. So it's not that big a deal. Now if you come into the increased stats, right, we have increased attack. Increased attack on Dagus, once again, it's not something that we're looking for, alright? We want a bunch of defense, we want a bunch of health, and we want some block if you could give us block. Attack, not so much. When we come over here, we've got attack speed. Once again, not the stat that we're looking for, and he's a really slow unit, and getting a couple speed isn't going to do anything for us. Alright, next we got some defense. Nice. That's literally the only reason why I would use Unleashed Potential. And because he's one of my favorite units, I will use Unleashed Potential on him eventually. However, that's probably way down the line, because like I said, it's really inefficient. When you compare this to Kaya. Over here, we got some more increased attack speed. Another thing that I don't really care about. Over here, some increased HP, which is nice. But it's like 17.2 for each one. If you remember Kaya's, she had like, on this second row, it was like 39 or something per upgrade. And then over here, we got some more attack speed. Right? So if you compare these, if you compare what you would get from Unleashing Potential on Dagus as compared to what you would get from Unleashing Potential on Kaya, it's completely different. Kaya is way more worth when it comes to what she gets from Unleashed Potential. Now, I do realize that she is a rare hero and he is a legendary hero, right? So she does get more. However, like, honestly, if you just look at it, it doesn't seem worth. Like I said, this is something that's a little harder to identify, right? It's really easy to understand whether or not you will use heroes and whether you're using heroes in multiple places. It's a lot easier to identify whether you're going to use them in the future or not. But it's a lot harder to to really just take a look and be like, is this worth or not, right? In terms of the stats you're going to get and the increase in abilities. But that's what you got to do. All right. So that's it. Those are my 3 conditions for you to look at and see whether or not it is worth to use Unleashed Potential. Right now, for me, Kaya is really the only one that I'm looking at for Unleashed Potential. And once I do that, I will do another overview of her with the Unleashed Potential stats and let you know how it is. However, that's also going to be a while from now because I did have to spend 20k Zez to get Rara. So I'm kind of hurting for Zez right now, and Baraka banner is going to be coming up soon, and I don't want to miss out on that. Alright? So probably it's going to be a few weeks' time, but after that, I will do Kaya Unleash potential, and I will make a video on that, and then I will look at what other heroes I think are worth it, and try that out, and let you know. Alright, so just one more time, just in case you forgot, lay it out real quick for you. First, your hero, you have to be using them in multiple places, right? If you only use them in Dragon, it's not really worth, okay? If you're only using them for special dungeons, it's not worth, okay? If you're only using them for PvP, it's kind of your call, right? Because PvP is kind of like the main thing that most people focus on, and that's what you want to climb in. However, I would say if you just use them in PvP, still not worth, okay? The next thing that you have to look at is whether or not you're going to use this hero in the future, regardless of what other heroes you may pull, alright? For example, Kaya, right? Kaya, I'm going to be using no matter what, right? I have Talia as a huge, amazing earth healer. I have Anastasia as another healer. I have Rudley and Chatty and a whole bunch of earth heroes that I can use instead of Kaya for special dungeons, but I still use her everywhere because I just think she's that good. Okay? Whereas Xeon, right? I did an overview on regular Xeon, not FC Xeon, and I said he was a really good hero to use for fire special dungeons and even in PvP. However, I pulled Sabrina, and Sabrina's kind of like an upgraded version of regular Xeon, so no point in using them anymore, really. Right? So that's why Xeon doesn't fit the requirements. Now, third is to look at the tree and see if it is worth it, right? If you're getting a bunch of stats that your hero doesn't really need that much, not worth it. If the upgrades to your abilities are minor, or they upgrade part of your abilities that you don't really need, not worth it, right? Dagus, he doesn't need more damage on his skill 2, so it's not worth it, right? He doesn't need more attack speed, not worth it. Alright, so that's it. If you have any heroes that even after watching this you're kind of on the fence about, you don't know, like you want to unleash potential but you don't know if it's worth it, feel free to comment down below and ask me, and I will let you know my opinion. Alright, I'll see you next time. I'm out. Peace.